Hello, this is Imad Kashi from Northeast Guy bringing you my Soul Striker deck profile. Alright, not to make sure this drags on too much, I'll just go over the cards that are a bit unusual and then just explain the basic game plan and just assume you know all the other cards. Alright, so first off, SS Rose Goku Black. You've just got this in as a way to awaken turn 3. Usually you hard mulligan for this card because when you awaken turn 3 is just like it's the night and day difference in your gameplay. The active main is also useful for cycling cards such as Freezer and Ape in your drop efficiently. And the fact that it's a blocker has a lot of value against stuff like crits and double strikes, etc. And then our finishers, or like the main bread and butter of the deck, is Kefla and Android 17. We use Kefla as a way to cycle and make our counterplays like hit active throughout the game, and on negates and stuff like Trunks. And then our 17 is how we usually win games. So we build boards like turn 1 to 3. Like, so turn 1 we do East Kai, turn 2 we do Margin Defender or Dispo. Then turn 3 we play our Unison because we've cycled with stuff like East Kai and swinging for draw and stuff. I would only ever recommend untapping when you swing on the unawakened side is if you're going for a very specific play like Zeno into ramp, untap, Margin Defender, or maybe you do East Kai, untap, East Kai, etc. Like, because East Kai will cycle for your deck anyway and build you a board for Kefla. In case you didn't know what Kefla does, it's a unique. When you reduce the energy cost by 1 for each of your battle cards, that's why we're building boards with East Kais, Margin Defenders, Negate Trunks, and stuff like that, and like Dispos. I'm thinking about making this Dimension Magic just a negate play like Blue Drop Roshi, just so for more consistent Keflas early on. Or maybe a one drop cycle type effect. Because we get Kefla on the board, we draw 2 and then we untap 2. So we easily get this card for 3 to 4 energy every game. And then untap 2. It's basically, with the leader untap, it's just essentially free. It's essentially free draw 2 every turn if they can't remove it. And then because we've been cycling, so the mid game you'll have the Kefla, you'll have the Booney, you'll do active main on Kefla, you'll draw 2, you'll active main on a Booney. If you hit a battle card, you'll untap. So you're essentially always going to have free energy open on your opponent's turn, which means hit is always active and Trunks will always be free after the hit. So you're essentially you're stopping free battle cards from hitting the board essentially. And then if anything's too high cost, like higher than 5, so hit can't touch it, and I don't have a Trunks, this Trunks negate will make it so it will usually not be able to attack. So then yeah, we just build hand size, board advantage with a Booney, Kais, defenders, Dispos, negates that play each other. We build hand size with Keflas and Goku Apes. So then it's on turn 5 or 6 because we will have 1 or 2 Margin Defenders. 2 is common because you cycle a lot with Apes and Keflas and Kais. But 1 will always be there at least. So you will play this minimum turn 6 every time. You play it, you reset your opponent's hand and their drop and your own hand. And then the most common gameplay is you do that. They have no hand, no drop. You play Kefla, you draw 2. You swing with leader, you draw, untap. Kefla makes you untap next turn, so then you can tap 2 for Goku Ape. You've now got a 5 card hand when your opponent has 0, and you're untapping 2 next turn. So you're not even like scared of them on the clapback because you'll have like negates like Trunks and stuff. And then if you got 2 Margin Defenders, that's even better. But you just gotta remember, Margin Defender has been ruled that you can't use skills. You can't use it to pay skill costs, so you cannot use Margin Defender for Freezer or Draw Ape. But yeah, the deck's very easy to play, but because you've got so many choices, it's every game's unique and fun, and it's I've currently played against Dredgeku, Sin Shenron, Vijx, all the meta decks, and the deck just nothing really seems to like mess with it that hard except red. Red's got good board removal. Red's probably your hardest matchup, but just because it's hard doesn't mean. But it's just because it's hard doesn't mean you can't win. I feel like you can still, if piloted correctly, beat your opponent. And the secret is just because we're running monocolor, so there's no good blue drop finisher, so this is the best secret we have. So yeah, I think this deck is just better explained when run. In the future, we'll probably have some gameplay of it if you're interested in see how it runs, but I just recommend trying it out yourself. Very basic gameplay, but very fun to play. You're essentially you always feel like you're in control. You'll always have a big board, and then once 17 hits the field, you just win. You kind of play your early game board control. You don't really care about swing of their life because you just want to control their board because 17 only shuffles the hand in battle cards in the drop. So if you always keep your board advantage, when you hit 17, you will then be able to slowly choke them out because then you will have insane draw power over them. They will probably only be drawing 1 to 2, maybe 3, if depending on their luck, cards during their clapback turn. But then you'll have 5 or 6, and then next turn you'll have another 4 or 5, and you're gonna be playing like 10 cards into 2. And I'm sure everyone here knows how to beat somebody with 10 cards when the opponent has 2. So yeah, Soul Striker mono blue, very simple. Game plan is very easy to pull off. Just remember, ideal plays are Kai turn 1, Defender turn 2, Goku turn 3, into a 2-drop, or save it for a negate like Trunks. And then after that, Abuni would be your ideal turn 4. And then Kefla turn 5. But if you're really cheeky, you could do like Swing, untap 2, Margin Defender. Player Margin Defender, Swing, untap 2. You've got 5 energy open, 2 Margin Defenders. You can just hardcast your 17 and reset the game. It's just super easy. This 17 is really good with Deflect, and you can just get it off super quickly with this deck. I highly recommend. Alright, till next time, this was Imad Kashi. Peacing out.